good Monday morning to you. Welcome to our Monday morning live edition of the Doctor's Nutrition Show. I'm your host, Jim Tabor, along with Doctors Jim and Janine Fox of Doctor's Nutrition, located on Callan Lorraine Road in Gulfport, just south of Pass Road. We do this every Monday morning. It is a live call-in show, so you're welcome to call in and ask any kind of questions that you might have at 896-0713 or 800-349-0713, because the show is all about helping you live a healthier lifestyle and hopefully a longer life at that. Mm-hmm. So today on the show, we're actually doing what we call frequently asked questions that they get on a daily basis at the store over there on Callan Lorraine Road. And if you have a question that you might want to chime in onto, again, please pick up the phone and give a call. So and you've got quite a few questions on here that people.
And this is the stuff that we get routinely.
Right, and we had our staff is who came up with the questions, because we said, what do we constantly get questioned, and they wrote it all down. So we get lots of questions all day because we were very busy, but these are ones we hear over and over. So we thought if we just answered them for everybody, then they would know.
It helped.
There you go. But again, if you have a question that you don't hear, please, again, feel free to pick up the phone, 896-0713, 800-349-0713. Pass the question along to our producer, and they'll pass it along to us. And of course, at the end of the show, we always have a weekly special that's 25% off. So be sure you tune in for that. Okay, first question. Why is blood work so important in preventative care? And is there any difference what I get at my doctor's office?
And then we get this seriously every day, because people are going to come in and they're going to say, well, I just had lab work done. Okay, and we go through this constantly. And well, what's the difference between what my doctor does and what you do? The problem is really with your doctors may use the same people. They may use LabCorp just like we do. Who knows? But the difference is how much we do. Your doctor is going to do enough to see, are you going to live? Maybe. Hopefully.
Right. I mean,
and that's it.
The organs.
Yeah.
If you're anemic, that is the normal, and your cholesterol.
Yeah.
That is your normal routine things that are checked. And one reason is it's what insurance covers.
Right.
Insurance, people just think I have insurance, they'll pay for whatever I want. That is not how it works. If you don't have a diagnosis code to fit a test, then you can't have it done. Right. Well, how do you know you have the problem if you can't have it done in the first place? That's kind of the way we look at it.
Kind of a catch-22, I think that's what they call it.
Yeah, we actually do a very broad panels. Even our panel the lower panel, the one that we call our expanded panel, that's 160. It does a lot. Yes, it does your basic stuff. It does, but it also does a lot of extra nutrients. He keeps looking down.
He's looking around.
He's on camera. So something fell.
Something fell.
Anyway, it checks a lot of different things. And so you're not just looking at the kidney liver function if you're anemic and your cholesterol. You're also looking at your vitamin D and your B12 and your folate and your magnesium, and you're also looking at your iron, and you're looking at your A1C. We have so many people come in that said they're pre-diabetic or diabetic and had no idea. And it's because their fasting sugar isn't too bad, but yet that is not your 3-month average. So your fasting sugars can still be okay, and you could still be diabetic. So it does that. It checks your insulin. It checks, it does so many different tests, and it's a way of looking. When you start talking about prevention, you got to know where the problems are or what's starting to prevent it from getting worse. Where is your problem area? And we can do that because we don't deal with insurance.
Right.
We don't deal with insurance. We don't have to justify what we're ordering to anyone. We can actually look so that we can help keep people healthy. And there is a difference in sick care and health care. So that is one of the big things. And why it's important is because you got to what's going on, or else you're just guessing. You can listen to symptoms. But
when you do the full panel, there's like several pages of information that comes back to you.
Like I said, that was just a minute ago, I was talking about our expanded panel.
Yeah.
We have the cardiac panel, which our panels kind of add things to it.
Right.
So when you get the cardiac panel, you get everything on the other one, but then we add extra things. We add homocysteine. We look for inflammation in the arteries. You look for muscle breakdown. You look for there's fibrinogen. There's a lot of things that are added to that panel. Then we have our pain panel. And the pain panel added to that are all the inflammation markers, the autoimmune screening, I should say, because it's not all the testing you would need, but it's a screening. It checks, do you have like a positive ANA, which would be like lupus or mixed connective tissue disease, or do you have rheumatoid arthritis, or do you have gout? I mean, it looks for all those things when you do the pain panel. And then we do hormones. Hormones check is definitely one thing that insurance companies in a lot of cases find not medically necessary, because it's not going to kill you. Your hormones being low or out of balance.
I'm sure there are a lot of women out there that beg to differ with
Exactly.
Oh, yeah.
when it comes to
They can make you very uncomfortable.
Hormones.
Very uncomfortable, and lots of
nothing against you, ladies. I'm just saying.
men are just as bad. I promise.
Are we really?
Oh yeah, we see.
yeah.
I have more men that want to have their hormones checked than women.
Testosterone levels
Yep.
and everything.
Oh, yeah.
Men
Oh,
are
yeah.
worse than women. I'm telling you. We see it every day. So anyway, I mean, we do hormone tests. We do. So there's so many things you can do, and like I said, what we do mostly prevention.
Right.
You find the problems before it comes, and you find what is wrong early, and then you make changes before it becomes a bigger problem.
The way medicine's done today, I'll give you an analogy that I use for guys really pick up on this, and a lot of the ladies do too, because it's real simple. You take your car to your dealership or your mechanic, and you say, it's got a rattle or something in it, it's making some kind of weird noise. They raise the hood to check the oil. Oil's fine. Yeah, but I got this rattle. Well, here's some earplugs. That'll take care of the. You don't hear it anymore. I mean, seriously.
And also, it's all the same kind of thing is.
Excuse me.
Do you, when something's wrong with your car, just go lift up the hood and start pouring oil, thinking, well, let's just put a bunch of oil in it and see if that makes a difference? Well, that's the same thing you do if you don't do lab work ahead of time to see what the problems are. Yep.
Exactly.
Wow. Okay, we got a question. Is there any reason as to why you shouldn't be drinking an electrolyte drink? My wife has dementia and has sodium issues, so she drinks Gatorade or Powerade to help level those out.
I mean, sugar's the biggest thing.
Sugar in that one.
That's
Now,
the biggest thing.
Also, some people with kidney issues, some of those electrolytes are hard on kidney patients. There's no reason for dementia not to do it.
No.
And if it helps level out our levels and everything else stays fine, that'll be okay. But like I said, it does have a lot of sugar in it, and a lot of those, so if she's diabetic, and sugar does make the brain worse, so, and with the dementia. But you do have to look at minerals and kidney issues, so that is, I would say, the biggest thing.
All right. Thank you for your call. 896-0713 or 800-349-0713. Our phone lines are open to you, so if you have a question regarding anything, we're talking about frequently asked questions that they get at the office on a daily basis. It's 8 minutes after 9 o'clock here on this Monday morning, so we're going to take a break and we'll be right back. And welcome back. It's our Monday morning live edition of the Doctor's Nutrition Show. We're talking about the most frequently asked questions that they get on a daily basis at the store. One of them is, what is the best memory supplement?
We get that one daily.
Yeah.
I mean, 10 times daily, probably.
Because dementia is on the rise, and people are starting to have memory issues.
Yeah.
And it really depends on the person.
There's no one best thing.
There's no one best.
I always tell everybody, it's sort of like saying, there's one thing that's going to cure everything. It's not. When you look at dementia and you look at the various problems that come up with brain activity and so on, Dr. Bredesen, The End of Alzheimer's and all that, the good book, great book to read, by the way. And he'll tell you, you've got a disease that's got at least 30-something or more that they know of different causes. So if you try to fix one of those causes, what about the other 35 or 36?
Right.
You still got a problem. So it's not one thing. There's no one thing that's going to.
But I do tell people you got to fix your deficiencies first.
That's the first thing.
Because B12 and folate, huge for brain. And if it's deficient, you can take every memory supplement there is, but if it doesn't have that in it, you're not going to see a difference.
Right.
So you got to fix deficiencies, and B12 and folate are a big one. If you're iron deficient, now, and not everybody needs iron. That's one that a lot of people do not need iron. But if you need it, makes a big difference in carrying oxygen to the brain.
It does.
Fish oil. Fish oil is something that I think everybody probably needs.
Well, especially when you think about, we have both white and gray matter in our brain. And the gray matter in our brain, about 25% of our brain, okay, mostly DHA. Where do you get most of the DHA you get in your diet? Fish oil.
Right. So you have to, I'd say everybody should probably take fish oil unless for some reason you're allergic to it or there's a reason, but fish oil, and then check your B12 and folate.
Right.
Make sure your iron's okay. Make sure your magnesium's okay. So
And
fix
make
your
sure-
deficiencies first.
Make sure everything
Then
else is functioning right.
We have multiple different things. We have something called Cognizin, which is a CDP choline, really good for brain, and people can tell a difference in that. I have a liquid and a capsule. Then we have Memory Core, and then we have Memory Pro, and then we have Brain Reset. All of those are for brain function. They're a little different. Some of them have the ginkgo, which not everybody can take if they're on a blood thinner. So you got to look and see what medications are you on, what goes with it. That's why we're there.
Right.
That's what, when people come in and ask that, again, we start asking those questions. You know, what are you on? What do you take? What's your medications? We don't going to give you anything that conflicts with that.
Right.
So the good thing is B12 and folate usually don't conflict if you're deficient with any medications. And, well, I should take that back. Folate does with a few chemos. But anyway, like I said, you want to know specifics. That's what we're there for. That's why we're there to help you figure out which one is best for you.
And that's really and truly the only way to go about it.
Yep.
You know, you can't, I don't care what they advertise on TV, there's no miracle out there.
Right.
So, yeah.
And if you have a thyroid issue, that's huge for brain function.
Really?
So if that's not working correctly, your brain is not going to work no matter which memory supplement you take. So again, doing the lab work, figuring out if you have underlying issues, fixing those first, then go into more of the
Right.
supplements for memory if everything else is better.
Okay. Question from a viewer. My body is extremely stiff. I can't really bend down or do much walking because of how stiff I am. Is there anything I can take or do to help make me feel more limber?
I would first tell you to look and see, is there a reason for you to be that stiff?
Right.
There are certain diseases that can cause that. They can be, some of them, and they can usually be tested, for instance, in some simple lab work, just blood draw. And so that would be the first thing I would tell you to do.
Actually, for that type of stiffness, I would tell you to do our pain panel.
Yeah, because it's going to
And-
look at things like your uric
It's
acid.
going to make sure you don't have all over body gout, because gout does
Exactly.
not have to just be in one joint. It can be, I've seen low level gout everywhere in people, and it makes you so stiff.
Oh yeah.
It looks for rheumatoid arthritis, which could make you stiff. It looks for the inflammation being extremely high, which can make you stiff. It can actually, and like I said, for instance, if it's just like regular arthritis, our Perna-Max does wonders. I mean, it really does. I get stiff if I don't take it. But if you have gout, it makes it worse. So that's kind of where you get into, it does make a difference on the lab work because it's a shellfish. Shellfish actually increases uric acid, which causes gout. So you got to look at where the stiffness is coming from. So definitely our pain panel would do that. And we do have things to help. And if it's the extreme inflammation, the SPM does wonders.
There's a reason for the stiffness, and so that
Yep.
needs to be, you
Yep.
need to try to find out why.
Find out why first.
Why first. Then you can start treating. Because if you
Exactly.
don't know what you're treating, I mean, what's your odds of getting it right? I mean,
Yeah.
if you throw a dart, okay, just, and you might get it, you might not. But if you'll dig in and try to figure it out, because, it's not a really good thing to be that stiff. Something's going on.
Right. And even if it is osteoarthritis, which is very, very, very common, there are things for that, but you need to know that it's that and not something else. Because,
Okay.
yeah.
Right.
All right, another frequently asked question. Is there anything I can do to help my health even though I have bad genetics?
Yeah, it's called epigenetics. That's
Yes.
what it's called. That's
Yeah.
a new word, right? And actually, years ago, genetics was the thing, because whoa, now we know what these genes are. But then they figured out, like, okay, crap, if I've got like 4 or 5 genes that are going the wrong way, I'm doomed. Not necessarily. And they found, in doing a lot of work with rats and mice, okay, where they found they could, because they're easy to control, we could actually insert genes in those poor little guys that made them age faster, made them have diseases and so on, just like we would if we were genetically flawed, so to speak. And then they said, okay, how can we correct this through, diets and stuff like that? And it was really, that's where epigenetics was formed.
And what epigenetics is everything else you do, you eat, stress, anything that affects you is your epigenetics.
Yeah.
So your genetics you cannot change. I probably say that 10 times a day or more. But you can change your epigenetics, and you can take things to actually help with whatever problem you might have genetically. So there's no doubt. I mean, even like everybody now, there's something called the MTHFR mutation, which 40% of the population have at least a gene. There is definitely something, methylated B12 and methylated folate and a little NAC, all those help wonders when you have that problem with your genes. But regular folic acid makes it worse. So you got to kind of know what's going on.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
I think we have another question up there.
Yes, I'm having problems with my digestive system / stomach. No matter what I eat, I can't seem to regulate my bowel movements. I know I am lactose intolerant. What can you eat? What can I eat to help with this issue? We've only got about 20 seconds left, so
Right, we'll answer it when we get back.
yeah, hold that thought. We'll answer that question when we get back,
Right.
and we'll also have this week's special for you.
Right.
Again, so we've got 17 minutes after 9 o'clock on this Monday morning. So we'll take a break, and we'll be right back. And welcome back. It's our final segment this morning. Before we get to this week's special, the question we had mentioned before we went to break. I'm having problems with my digestive system / stomach. No matter what I eat, I can't seem to regulate my bowel movements. I know I am lactose intolerant. What can I eat to help with this issue?
Well, if you're lactose intolerant, that's a food sensitivity or food allergy, so to speak. Maybe some other foods that you're allergic to that you don't know about.
Right.
And it's really hard to try to figure those out.
It is.
Believe me, been there, done that, okay?
Yep.
And we do have a test, believe it or not, that is a food sensitivity, food allergy type test. And it'll find out what you're allergic to and things that you're highly sensitive to.
Right.
And trust me, I've been there, I've done that.
And he did that test.
That test told me exactly what
and his
to.
stomach's way better. I mean,
Oh,
thing
The
is,
older that I get, the more
Yeah.
issues that I have been having the same kind of issues
well, you
as
can
this
have
person
more
has.
sensitivities.
Yeah.
Exactly.
And the
well,
bad
it's like,
thing-
we talked about
Milk.
milk. Yeah.
The bad thing is it could be a food that's really healthy for you. People are like, oh my God, I'm allergic to avocados. And I'm like, yep. I mean, so it's things that you can't really say what you can eat because it's different from person to person. What he can eat, I mean, he does have the dairy allergies. And you should not just stay away from lactose. If somebody is lactose intolerant, first thing I would do is stop all dairy. None.
Yeah.
So
No
and see what,
cheese or anything
and
like
see what
that.
that does. I would stop all dairy.
Because
I
it's-
would stop all dairy and all gluten.
Well, that goes
and
my
a
own
lot
way.
of times that can help. But if that does not, then you do the food, what we call our 88 food precision point allergy test.
Yeah.
It is $450. That's what everybody's first question. How much does it cost? And so it's expensive, but I have seen it clear up problems where people have been everywhere.
I had a dear friend in Florida that ate healthy, okay, and he did. If you looked at his diet, you'd swear, hey, this dude has really got it down pat. And avocados, blah blah blah. That's where one of the things came up. The avocados. He ate avocados every day, a couple of times a day. I mean, he was fanatic about his diet. He is, but he had all kind of problems.
And he had weight. He couldn't lose weight.
He couldn't lose weight, and he was always like bloated. I always kidded him. He looked like he was pregnant, you know. and he really, you know, and he just laughed and he'd say, "Yeah." He said, "But I can't get rid of it." He said, "If you're pregnant, you have a baby, and it goes away." I said, "Yeah, right." So finally convinced him to spend. He was tight. Okay, he's a little tight. So I finally convinced him to spend the money to do the test, and he did. And one of his highest allergy foods, avocados. Oh my God, what am I going to do? I said, well, you're not going to eat avocados. Okay, what else? And then there was some other foods and stuff, but it happened to be pretty much everything he ate every day.
He's lost. But we had a lot of people. They've done this for other reasons, and they start losing weight,
Yeah.
and they haven't been able to lose weight before. So it actually does a lot. It's not just that it helps stomach problems. It actually helps just health in general. And it's not a forever thing. You stay off your foods, and then you slowly add some back and see how you do. And then if you don't do well, you stop it again. So it's not like, okay, the rest of your life you can't have this. You do want to stay off of it for a good 3 to 6 months normally. We tell you how long depending on how bad the allergy is.
Right.
So
Now, is this
that
the
is
one that you do the little things on your back
Nope.
or whatever?
no.
No,
This is a
this
blood
is a blood
test.
test.
Simple
Oh,
blood
really?
test.
Yeah.
Really?
It's a simple blood
Well, I'm
test.
going to have to sign up for it because
Okay.
my issues are starting to,
Okay.
you know.
It's a simple
And
blood test.
The thing about it is, you know, like you said, it'll show you what you're having a problem with. Like for instance, one of my biggest problems with mine was tomatoes. Okay, so I like to garden. Okay, what do you grow? Tomatoes, right? All right, so I can't do that. So I stopped. And I can tolerate a little now. That's been like, gosh, probably a
Couple
year ago.
years.
You had a
Yeah.
good stand of
Few
okra
years.
this
Yeah.
Well, yeah, thank God I wasn't
Okra's
allergic
good,
to
yeah.
that. But the thing we found out is, okay, I stayed away from my tomatoes for a long enough period of time, got everything kind of cleared up, and then I started rotating it back in to see, okay, can I tolerate
But
it?
occasionally,
That's the key.
he can do it.
I could, and you know, the key is occasionally. I can do it once, but if and like for instance, me, shrimp is another one that kind of, it's questionable. I love them, and I can do them today and I'm fine. If I try to do it tomorrow, today and tomorrow, boom, I'm going to have problems. So if I wait about 3 or 4 days, then I can have another meal with some shrimp in it, and I'm okay.
I did tell somebody the other day that the perfect diet, and this is true, it's very hard to do, and especially if you don't know at first which foods. The perfect diet would be not to eat the same thing, but like maybe every 72 to
72 hours.
3
3
to
days,
3 to 4 days. And
That's
we're
tough.
nothing the same. But that's hard to do. Everybody tends to eat the same food over and over and over.
Right.
That's just how people are. That is actually human nature. So, unfortunately, we better get to the special before.
Well, I was going to say, if I have to give up wings, I'm going to be in trouble.
It'll come back chicken wings.
Yeah. Let's go ahead and look at what we have for this week's special.
Yeah, the zinc and elderberry, or elderberry zinc. It's a lozenge, and the reason for the lozenge is you want this to coat the throat as it goes down, as you swallow. The whole buccal cavity is what the mouth is called, so we want to coat that. We want that zinc to coat the throat, the esophagus, all the way down.
And we decided to put that on sale because it's winter.
It's winter. It's
And
time
people
for
right
this
now
stuff.
need the things. Elderberry helps the immune system.
Right.
Zinc definitely does.
And it's got a little
We've
bit of
talked
D.
about zinc a lot when it has to do with COVID.
Yeah, exactly.
Right,
And
exactly.
it does have a little bit of vitamin D. So
Yeah.
it has like 1,000 D. It has 23 milligrams of the zinc, and then it has some elderberry extract and elderberry. But like I said, it's really good for the immune system and try to keep you from getting sick. And even kids can do it. They might not need as high of a dose, but you can break the lozenge and give them a little piece of it. So the good thing, that's something for winter that just pretty much
And right now,
everybody can try.
right now, COVID and
And the flu,
yeah.
and
Are
RSV and strep. I mean, we're seeing
Rampant.
lots of stuff out there right now.
Yeah.
They really are.
Okay, another frequently asked question. We covered pretty much a while ago. We talked about supplements for helping with pain. You were talking about Pernimax and,
Right.
and
But
all that.
there's
Well,
a lot of stuff
stuff,
for pain.
yeah.
Because that is something that we get a lot,
Yeah.
is what can I do for pain? And
Yeah.
there's no doubt, Pernimax if it's arthritis, Phyto-4 actually helps with pain, SPM helps with pain.
Inflammation and so on.
CBD helps with pain,
Mm-hmm.
so we also use that. So there's a lot of things that we
Yep.
have that you can do for pain. Again, depends on what kind of pain you have, where's it coming from. That makes a difference.
Okay.
So it really does.
Are you able to help with autoimmune issues?
Yes, and we have a lot of people that's coming in with autoimmune, and we are seeing a rise in it. And the pain panel that we mentioned is what we do to see maybe if you have a specific issue. But there are many things, and we're at the end of the show, we'll talk about that maybe next time, because there's a lot. We'll do a whole show on autoimmune coming up maybe.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
It's a big
Yeah,
subject.
because that is a
It really
question we get a lot, and we really do. That is one.
Yeah.
And like I said, but we don't have much time left, so
No.
Yeah.
We got 30 seconds left, so we didn't get to all the frequently asked questions. Maybe next week when it's Open Line Monday,
Yep.
we can
We'll-
probably throw a few of those in there.
Yeah, we'll do more next week because it is open line, so we'll get questions in between and we'll finish our frequently asked questions.
So be thinking of your frequently asked
Yep.
questions.
There you go. So remember that for next week. If you want some more information, you can go to their website, doctorsnutrition.com, or their Facebook page. We will see you next Monday morning here at 9 o'clock on WLOX CBS.
For more information on highlighting your business and services on Healthy Living South Mississippi, contact Jim Tabor at 896-1313.